Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another YouTube video. My name is Pollux the Wise, and I hope you guys are doing absolutely frogging splendid as we hop our way straight into another YouTube video. What are we going to be talking about today, you ask? Well, 10 new enemy ideas and environmental hazards for existing factions in Kingdom Rush, the original edition. So let's get started. The first new idea we have on today's list is known as the Goblin Scout. With 320 health on Veteran, low physical resistance, no damage, with a very fast movement speed, and they cost you 1 life if they happen to leak through your defenses. What's special about these scouts is the fact that they can actually use special gizmos to redirect entire waves of enemies down paths that are less defended than others. They cannot be blocked by barracks or heroes due to their insanely fast movement speed, and they buff nearby allies' movement speed by 10%. I don't think I need to explain why this would be a very game-breaking mechanic. The thing that Goblin Scouts will teach you guys to do as a more pro gamer is learning to sell your towers and rebuy them, being able to spread out your defense so that it makes it more difficult for the Goblin Scouts to make a choice as far as which lane is less well defended, whether that's the number of towers that's installed or the more powerful towers that are installed in a particular lane. In other words, by providing the Goblin Scouts with more choices as far as, well, I don't know whether we should go down this lane or not. Obviously, though, it will probably be code in the AI in order to determine that, but nonetheless, I think this will definitely ramp up the difficulty of KR1 just a little bit. Moving on, we have the Zeppelin carriers with 5,000 HP on Veteran mode, no resistance to any type of damage. They don't deal any damage, but they have a very slow movement speed, and that's why they cost you 10 lives if they somehow manage to leak through your defenses. They are packed to the brim with troops, and they carry and deploy enemies once every several seconds periodically by parachute to fight on the ground below. So each enemy spawn has a % chance to spawn as either a Goblin, Orc, Zapper, or Orc champion, from 40% all the way down to 10% respectively for each one. So in other words, Goblins have a 40% chance to spawn while Orc champions only have 10%. And since these guys move very slowly, and because of their high altitude at which they're flying at, the Big Bertha's missiles cannot target them, neither can the Tesla. They can only be targeted by Musketeers. So once again, this one's going to kind of force you to perfect your strategy with that particular tower just a little bit. I feel like Musketeers are a little underrated in my opinion as far as, maybe I'm wrong, maybe you guys will correct me down in the comment section below, but I don't feel like Musketeers get enough attention or love. I do like the Ranger's Hideout, obviously it's very useful and a lot of people do use it, but I also feel like Musketeers should have a little bit more viability, and I definitely think the Zeppelin carriers will make this worth it. With the grape shot on the ground to clear out all those deployed enemies, and then their sniper shots being able to deal massive amounts of damage to each Zeppelin carrier, hopefully afterwards. Moving on, we have the battering ram for the HEXER trolls with 1248 HP, so 1248 HP on veteran mode. They have no resistance, they don't deal any damage. However, what they do have is an increasing movement speed, and they cost you 3 lives if you didn't build any towers in that particular lane that they're going down through, and they somehow manage to leak through your defenses. There's actually a very simple way to counter these battering rams. It's by just simply building low-level towers. Now, why do I say low-level? You're not really looking to kill the battering ram, you're looking to stop it from crashing into other towers. Because this siege weapon is covered in sharp spikes. It charges forward, slowly gaining speed until it crashes into a nearby tower, damaging it to the point that it has to be repaired to continue operating. So in other words, if this battering ram managed to reach one of your towers and crashes into it, you would have to pay a small fee of gold in order to get it up and operating again. It would not be able to operate at all as long as it was damaged. Also, the battering rams cannot be blocked by barracks or heroes, but conversely, they do not deal any damage to your barracks or hero units if they happen to run through them or run them over, unlike the Razor Boars from Kingdom Rush Origins. Next up, we have the Woolly Mammoth, also going to be belonging to the HEXER faction. I figured since, hey, they kind of live in the frozen, cold northern mountains, it might make sense to include some Woolly Mammoths. They have 2,000 HP on Veteran, no resistance to any type of damage, and they deal area melee damage, 100 to 100, so it's pretty much the same attack damage guaranteed every single time, with an attack speed of 2.0 seconds. Their speed is pretty slow, and they cost you 4 lives if they happen to leak through your defenses. Here's the thing that makes these guys special. Because of their size, and because of how well that they can tank other units, they basically focus nearby towers to force all of their firepower on them, before prioritizing any other nearby enemies, even if they happen to be in front of the woolly mammoths. They also possess a charge attack that deals 150% area melee damage, but it does take about several seconds for that kind of attack to charge up. Next up on today's list is the ARCHVILE belonging to the Demon faction. Now this one was especially influenced from the idea of the ARCHVILE demon from the game Doom Eternal. For those of you who have absolutely no idea what I'm talking about, go back and watch the live streams that I did on that game, and I'm not going to lie, those guys are such a pain in the butt, especially on the master levels. Oh my god. But basically, these guys have 2210 HP on veteran mode, 80% resistance to magic damage. They have a true damaging melee attack, 30 to 55 damage, with a respectable attack speed of once per second. They also have very slow movement speed, and you're going to understand why that is. You think, that's not a lot of HP, and they only cost you 5 lives. It doesn't seem that bad, but here's what they do. Since they're so well versed in demonic summoning rituals, they can create empty illusions of demon spawn to distract your tower's firepower from real enemies. And to destroy the illusions, though, you have to kill the ARCHVILE first. So what does that mean? Well, you've only got a couple different options. You basically have to get your hero to attack them by forcing them into melee combat, or you have to hit them with Rain of Fire and hope that it deals enough damage so that maybe some splash damage from like a Tesla or Big Bertha might be able to finish them off. That sort of thing. Wrath of the Forest and Poison Arrows could also be a really good counter for these guys, but again, it's just kind of to increase the viability of using those types of towers. Not that players really needed much encouragement probably using those towers anyways, but it's just a cool gimmick that I thought might be interesting to add to the game. Next up, we have the Demon HEXER with 350 HP on veteran difficulty and 70% resistance to magic. They deal physical damage, low damage admittedly, but with a good attack speed, and they have very fast movement speed. They only cost you 1 life if they happen to leak through your defenses. So what's special about these guys? Because they're really not that much tankier than Demon Spawn, you might ask. Well, they can create portals that immediately teleport allied units furthest from them to their location. The portals remain open for up to 3 seconds before disintegrating, and the Hexers have to summon a new portal. Yeah, these guys can definitely pose a big problem, especially if, say, something like Cerberus or a Gulamon was at the back of the pack. All of a sudden, they're right there on the front lines. No bueno. So you might see a bunch of Demon Spawn come out and think, oh, that's easy enough to deal with. See some Gulamons and Cerberus later on and be like, nah, I can deal with them later. But the Demon Hexers are just there to precisely make you think otherwise. Next up, we have UNGOLA. Now, this is an idea of an entirely new type of boss, basically a mega boss, if you will. She's going to be the queen of all Spider Queens, kind of inspired from, like, Lord of the Rings with Ungoliant. She has 42,800 HP on veteran mode with complete immunity to all magical attacks. However, to counter this, she does have a very slow movement speed and attack speed at once every 2 seconds, but she does deal an area insta-kill attack. Additionally, she is also capable of webbing entire towers, heroes, and armies of barrack units on the ground simultaneously. She also spawns a constant stream of hatchlings, and if they are left unkilled by your towers, they can quickly grow into matriarchs or noxious creepers within seconds. Yeah, no bueno. So basically, think of the boss battle for Seralgez, but on steroids. Next up, we have the Valardurian Sentinels, which were inspired by the Valardul faction. For those of you who are unaware of where Valardul is, that's basically Vesnan's homeland. And these would basically serve as his personal bodyguards. They have 920 HP on veteran difficulty with 60% resistance to physical damage. They have powerful melee and ranged attack weapons with a good attack speed at once per second, medium movement speed, and they cost you 3 lives if they happen to leak through your defenses. Here's the thing about these guys. They can block all archer attacks level 3 and below with their shields. So level 3 archers, level 2 archers, level 1 archers, their attacks deal absolutely no damage. And additionally, they are also 50% resistance to all artillery damage. So that sucks. Hope you guys are good at using magic towers. They are really, really going to help. Last, or I should say second to last on the list, we have the Fogwalkers, which are going to belong to the Rotten Forest faction with 300 HP on veteran difficulty, and they are also immune to artillery damage. They deal low melee damage, but they do have a fast attack speed, medium movement speed, and they only cost you 1 life if they leak through your defenses. So what's so threatening about these guys? Well, since they attack in tightly packed crowds, the fog walkers can cover the battlefield around them in thick layers of fog, essentially forcing you to play blind. However, it does not prevent towers from damaging them or other nearby allied units, and although they are immune to artillery, all magic attacks deal 200% damage to them. So that is nice. Tainted Weirdwoods are the last new idea for enemies for KR1 on today's list. They basically have 2,000 HP on Veteran, and 95, I think that was 95%. I'm not wearing my glasses, so this is kind of hard to read. 95% resistance to physical damage on Veteran. I don't think it would go down for any reason. I don't know why I said that. Anyways, they have powerful melee and ranged attacks. The difference being, though, it's a slightly slower attack speed than most other enemies have. They do have slow movement speed, but they cost you 4 lives if they happen to leak through your defenses. Why is that the case? Why are these guys so threatening? Well, here's the thing. They have the clobber ability like they did from Kingdom Rush Origins, so they can stun and damage all nearby barrack units and heroes for up to 75 true damage. They are also capable of healing nearby treants by up to 100 hit points every 5 seconds, although they cannot heal themselves or other Weirdwoods. In any case, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for the end of today's episode. Let me know if you guys have any ideas for new KR1 enemies down in the comment section below, and if you guys want to see a sequel video for this covering the other Kingdom Rush games, and if you have any ideas for those too, make sure to put those down in the comment section below as well, and hopefully I will see you guys in the next YouTube video. This is Pollux the Wise. Peace out.